After Job has lost his health and his wealth and his family in the book of Job, he literally puts on burlap and he puts ashes on his head and he sits in mourning just on the ground. And his three friends hear about his suffering and they decide to come to comfort Job. And when they're on their way up in the story, it tells us that they walked up to Job and they had no idea it was Job. He was so broken, so messed up, so much suffering entered his life. He had been so beaten down that they couldn't even recognize him. And they were so overwhelmed by his suffering that they actually sat with him for 7 days silently and just wept on the ground. And eventually, as the story continues, their kind of overwhelmed, heartfelt comfort turns to the need to kind of give an answer, to figure out what's gone wrong. So they begin to question Job. They say, Job, you must have done something wrong. I mean, if you hadn't have done something wrong, then God wouldn't have done this to you. So what did you do, Job? Just confess your sin and God will straighten all this out. And Job makes him angry because he keeps saying, I'm telling you guys, I'm innocent. I've been living a righteous life. And he gives all these reasons and they kind of have this conversation back and forth. And eventually, the Lord comes down and he says, you friends, your words are full of folly. It's ridiculous. What are you talking about? You're just talking in circles. Be quiet. It reminds me, those friends remind me a lot of the church when it comes to broken people. It seems like a lot of our comfort is really couched in blame. I think that, when did the church's comfort have to include blame? When did we have to point fingers? When did the church's attitude become, well, you made your bed, you better sleep in it now? It's almost how we've kind of treated people with AIDS. That evangelical Christians are the least likely people on the face of the earth to help someone with AIDS. You know why? Because we're looking for blame. Because we've called it a plague that these people deserve to have because somehow they did something wrong. So we should, of course, help them, come alongside them. We point fingers and we blame and we shoot our own wounded. We shoot people that are wounded, that need the comfort of Christ. And instead of coming alongside them and just sitting with them and weeping, we feel the need to kind of make them repent first before they get our comfort. When do you think the Lord's going to come down and rebuke us for the folly of our words?